Okay, so if you've been anywhere near social media lately, you've seen it. The absolute chaos at our nation's airports. The endless lines, the frustrated families. But what if I told you that according to the sources we're digging into today, what you're seeing isn't just a simple breakdown or a funding fight? What if it's something else entirely? Our sources are calling it a hostage negotiation. And right there, that's the core claim. Our sources are saying straight up that this isn't an accident. This isn't a mistake. It is, from their perspective, an intentional, manufactured crisis designed to achieve a very specific and completely unrelated goal. The airports, the airlines, and, well, all of us trying to fly, we're just a leverage.
So how do you create that leverage? Well, the sources alleged it's all done through what they call a calculated spectacle. This isn't just random chaos. This is carefully designed political performance art, and the goal is to make us all feel the pain. Think about those images you've seen. According to these sources, none of it is an accident. The 4-hour lines at JFK? Deliberate. The tactical units making everyone uneasy? Part of the show. And get this, they claim ICE teams were deliberately sent in, not to help, but specifically to add to the congestion. It's all described as carefully curated stagecraft, designed for maximum public anger.
Okay, so that's a pretty big claim. If it's all manufactured, how would we even know? Well, the sources point to what they see as a critical piece of evidence. A simple, clean solution was put on the table to end all this misery, and it was flatly rejected.
The story you're hearing in public is that this is just business as usual in Washington, a political stalemate over funding. But the sources we've looked at say that's just a cover story. They claim that the president's own party offered a way out, a clean bill, no strings attached. It would have funded the TSA and gotten the airports running smoothly again, just like that. But they allege it was intentionally sabotaged.
And that quote from the source material really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? Why would you reject a fix? Well, according to them, it's because the administration needs the crisis. Our anger, our frustration over canceled plans, that's the weapon. The moment the airports are running normally again, all that leverage just vanishes.
So if you're creating a crisis but you don't want the blame, you need a strategy to control the narrative. The sources claim the administration is using a very specific psychological tactic for this, something they call the DARVO playbook.
DARVO. It's an acronym, and it stands for Deny, Attack, and Reverse Victim and Offender. The sources we're looking at claim this is a manipulation tactic the president perfected in the business world, and now, they allege, he's using it on the entire country.
And here's how they say it works. Step 1. Deny. Deny you had anything to do with creating the gridlock. Completely ignore that clean funding bill you rejected. Step 2. Attack. Go on the offensive and blame your political opponents for refusing to fund security. And Step 3, the final twist. Reverse the roles. You portray yourself as the one protecting public safety, while telling every angry traveler that the opposition is the real villain responsible for their misery.
Which brings us to the biggest question of all. What's the ransom? If all this airport chaos is the leverage, what is it being used for? According to the sources, it's all about forcing Congress to pass unrelated legislation that is just filled with what they call landmines.
Specifically, this analysis points to 5 of these so-called legislative landmines, and they're hidden deep inside the funding bills at the very center of this whole standoff. The first couple are what the sources call poison pills, divisive cultural issues like bans on trans athletes. They're designed to be a distraction, but then you get to the second landmine, a rule that would mandate physical document verification to register to vote. That would effectively shut down the online registration portals that 42 states currently rely on.
Landmine number 3, it would require a physical birth certificate or passport just to register. The sources estimate that one provision could affect as many as 21 million American citizens. And number 4, it forces states to use what's described as a notoriously error-prone federal database to purge their voter rolls just 30 days before an election. That gets rid of a crucial 90-day safety window that protects voters from being kicked off the rolls by a simple clerical error.
And the last landmine might be the most chilling. According to this analysis, it goes after the people who actually run our elections. This provision could put local poll workers in prison for up to 5 years for simple registration mistakes. The sources say it's designed to create a chilling effect to scare good people away from these essential jobs.
Now, beyond what this means for voters, the sources describe another, deeply cynical strategy. This one is allegedly being used against the very federal agents who are at the center of this whole thing. It's a tactic they call the Atlantic City Trap.
See, to get thousands of ICE agents to sign up for this surge, the administration offered a pretty sweet deal. A $20,000 hiring and retention bonus. That's a powerful incentive. But according to the sources, that bonus comes with a hidden catch that makes it almost impossible to actually collect. The strategy is described as weaponized attrition, and the goal, allegedly, isn't to retain these agents, it's to burn them out. The sources describe a plan to create a working environment that is so toxic and so unsustainable that agents are essentially forced to quit.
And the timing they point to is incredibly specific. The bonus requires agents to stay on the job for 18 to 24 months, but the sources claim the entire system is set up to make life so miserable that agents give up and quit right around month 17, just before they'd be eligible for that $20,000 bonus.
But maybe the most jaw-dropping allegation here is what the sources have dubbed the funding theater. While we're all being told this standoff is happening because agents are starving for funds, these sources state flatly that ICE operations were already fully funded for the entire year, way back last fall. The claim is that the whole public reason for this crisis is a complete fabrication.
So, when you put all of these pieces together, the manufactured chaos, the psychological games, the legislative landmines, the trap set for federal agents, what does it all mean? Well, the sources we've examined come to a very, very stark conclusion.
They really don't mince words. They frame this entire push in dramatic historical terms, calling it the single most significant attack on the right to vote in generations.
And that's really the bottom line. According to the material we've reviewed, the mess at the airport isn't the problem, it's the tool. The ultimate takeaway from these sources is that we are not watching a simple budgeting failure, we're watching what they describe as nothing less than a hostile takeover of American democracy. And that really leaves us with a final big question that this whole analysis brings up. When the basic services that make our society run, things like just getting on an airplane, are turned into weapons for political leverage, what is the ultimate cost for all of us?